All right, everybody, welcome. It is 6:31, December 15th. This is the select board meeting as per our usual schedule. And we will start as normal with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and per our usual, Dave Hemingway, Chair of the Select Board.
Harlow Herrick.
And our colleague is unable to make it as he is doing required training this evening for his other work. And so we thank him for his service in doing that. Meeting rules and procedures, nobody here is brand new, but we tend to do this classroom style, so please just don't talk over each other. Even if we're in the middle of talking, just raise your hand. We will try to make sure that you get to say something on that, even if we weren't specifically looking to take questions on it. For announcements, do we have any specific town announcements?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. And I think that will be it, since I'm not quickly finding the other thing I wanted to mention in my calendar. We are, of course, meeting tomorrow as well for budget workshop, and then we will be participating in a joint meeting with Hopkinton tomorrow evening in Hopkinton.
Right at the firehouse.
What time is that, Dave?
Is that 6:30?
Yeah, it's gonna be at 6:30.
6:30.
Thank you.
And that will discuss primarily two items, which are the ambulance agreement and continuing discussions about the transfer station.
Well, I think they decided they don't want to discuss the transfer station.
Oh, they've changed that now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will still be asking them about it.
That's what I told
What was that?
The transfer station, they apparently don't want to talk about the transfer station further, but
I understand
we'll
why.
definitely be asking.
Yes.
Because we need to know so that we can budget. I don't know that their budget committee has finalized stuff yet
don't
to
think so. I
give
think
us any
they're
better
close.
numbers, though. So we'll see where that happens. They may just tell us we'll have numbers in a week or two, but that being said, that moves us on to appointments unless there are further announcements or announcements by either of our chiefs.
Smoke detectors and CO detectors. We've worked with Bosquen on two major fires, and one of them was fatal, so people would just check their batteries. Last year, we had one chimney fire in town. In the last month, we've had 4, so please check your chimneys and have them inspected and be safe.
All right, thank you very much. Fire prevention goes a lot further than trying to rebuild when you're dealing with dollars and cents and lives. Yes,
Dave, just a little announcement also that they've had an awful lot of cars that have been taken out of driveways because people start their cars in the morning and leave them running and don't lock the doors or just start with remote. And not so much out in this area, but in more confined sections of Hopkinton, Concord, Bosquen, they've had, I think, 6 in the last 2 weeks that have just taken off. So make sure you lock your cars or at least use a remote start so they can't drive off with it.
Oh, you're saying they're leaving the car, they go out and they start the car and then they go back in the house and,
Leave the
okay.
keys in.
I was just thinking, whenever you do the remote start, you gotta lock it. I'm thinking every time I try to get in it. No. But I see what you're saying. Oh, that's crazy. Wow.
All right.
the world is a wonderful place these days. Just in case, I don't think we'll have a problem being heard, but if anybody decides that we need assistance projecting our voices, we do have a sound system for that works well. We just don't normally bother to turn it on, especially since we often don't have an audience. But if that is needed, please just let us know. We'll be happy to turn that on for you. And since a quick note on that, the microphone is up in the ceiling and it does pick up everything very well, including audience conversations between each other next to you. So just be aware of that. That then moves us to our first appointment, the tax collector.
I
and
don't
an
see her,
abatement
so I'm gonna give her a
request.
quick call, 'cause she's downstairs.
All right.
There was one on the field.
Yeah, well, why don't we go ahead and invite Merrimack Valley Youth Soccer up to talk about field improvements.
Do you want
and
us to
while we
come up
wait.
there?
Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank you for
having us.
coming.
I'm Josh. I'm the president for Merrimack Valley Youth Soccer. This is Pete.
Yeah, I did build and equipment.
First, thank you to the town of Webster. You guys have been very supportive of this program for, I believe, over 25 years it's existed. I've been the president for 2 years and involved for 9 in coaching and other aspects, and I know that it can make a world of difference for the kids of our towns. Happy to share a little bit about our program. I don't know how familiar you guys are with our growth and expanding into year-round programs and stuff, but we're really here to kind of ask for help with the field across the road at Webster Elementary. It's our primary home field. We have over 300 kids that play in our program, and all the kids touch that field in some form or fashion throughout the spring, summer, and fall. And what we've noticed with the field is that we're struggling with a couple things. Overall is dust has gotten really bad because the grass has pretty much died across the field, and holes and pits in the field has created unsafe playing conditions for the kids and the coaches based on the condition of my ankles. So we're just here to request some help and also talk about investments we want to make back into the field as a league, and make sure that the town is comfortable with what we're looking to do this coming year with the field. We talked to Dana here at the town hall. He's been wonderful as a partner for us. He's really good.
Yeah. Very responsive.
As far as investments that we're looking to make this year, we have 3 major things that we've kind of fundraised to put back. We're looking to create, to redo the goals. So the goals that are out there are adult college-sized goals. They're, what are they, 24 feet by
24 by 8. And
by 8.
8 roughly.
But the field itself is only big enough for 11-year-old kid, up to 11 and 12-year-old kids. And so you have these small goalies playing in ginormous goals. And so we'd like to purchase appropriate size goals and replace them with 18.5 by 7.5 goals.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is US Soccer approved size. That would be our cost. We also want to put nets, and we've talked about this a little bit with Dana, but removable nets along the back of the woods, because when kids are taking shots, they go into the woods and then the kids chase them and they come out with poison ivy. I've chased them and come out with poison ivy. So trying to put they're removable nets that come with big poles, so they would go in spring and summer, come out during the winter, so they shouldn't create any issues other than having like 4 or 5 posts in the ground to kind of anchor them in. And then the last one is a new lighting system we're going to be installing for the field. It would live in the shed that's already there. These are all things we're looking to purchase next year and do, but where we're getting stuck is how to maintain the field. We don't have access to water. We're not able to, we looked into hydro seeding and some form of seeding for the field, but we're really struggling with maintaining the field and some of the conditions of the field. So that's where we're here, just to talk through it and look for, see if there's anything.
We'd like to invest in getting hydro seed onto that field, but there's no point in us doing it if it's just going to die.
Yeah.
We'd like some way of getting water to that field. I don't know how the best way of doing that is.
We've talked through different things like bringing water from the river. I think that's what they do at the baseball field. I'm not entirely sure. But, we use that field as kind of our center home field for the majority of our program. We do U10 and UA do Friday night lights there. I don't know if anyone's ever been to a Friday night light game, so it's a lot of fun under the lights, and parents get very into it. We want to do that for the older kids, and it's the primary home field for all our competitive teams up to 12. So we love use of the field. We love having access to it, and what you guys have brought to the families of Merrimack Valley, but we are struggling with safety on the field right now.
What is the agreement with the school? Because I know that they're doing like mowing of that field. Are they
I would have to
doing
check.
more we're supposed to do more than just mowing?
When you talk to,
I can confirm that Fred does mow it, Fred from the schools, because he also takes care of Salisbury, so I've talked to him a few times, but he said that's the extent of what he's asked to do for that field.
Getting water there would be super helpful. I don't know how that would happen from the town, because the only water to pull from really is either the river or the school.
Yes.
I mean,
So
I mean,
I think we need to talk to the school about it and try to figure out what makes the most sense. I'm certainly in favor of trying to make this happen, but
Right.
need to figure out what the best way and what the feasible ways are to actually do that.
Sure, that makes sense.
I mean,
We've been working through that ourselves, so.
yeah, I mean, it's a bit boring to do that.
Do you have any questions or?
No, I'm just thinking, but no, I don't.
It's a,
No, they just wanna get it reseeded. Are you,
It needs to be re-leveled.
well, that's what I mean, yeah, you do all the process.
Yeah, yeah.
To make it so then,
Mhm.
but you're right, water is pretty
would be
important.
the challenge, because we'll end up in the dust got pretty bad towards the end of the year. At minimum, I think next year, like filling the holes and trying to make it a little bit safer, and flat would be the key priority, but water is a tricky thing.
You know, Dana mentioned that they've got a spigot up on Town Hall, but they're not sure, he wasn't sure about the school, because he doesn't
Yeah.
go to school. And he said.
I mean, is there any water they can access over there? Besides going,
I know when we had the skating rink back there years ago, the brook that comes from the sand shed that goes across and then out behind the Creightons and back across. But I don't know, during the summer, that probably dries right up to nothing, but
Right.
I know in the winter, we used to flood the skating rink out of that little brook. But probably in the summer, it's probably,
dried up.
I mean, would it be at all possible to run some poly pipe out to the river and back, or is that way too far?
I think from that corner to the river, I mean, I think it's quite a distance.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to say without going out there and walking it again if it's 250 feet or if it's,
I mean, I could get that pretty easily. I could get the poly pipe pretty easily.
but then you need power, you got, you need power
That's
for
the
the
next thing, you need
pump.
power. We do have power
And
on
you'd
the
have to
spot.
get permits to do that, I think.
Yeah.
You do? Yeah.
Yeah, anything with river water is permit
Yeah,
based.
That's the next question we're gonna ask.
Whereas if we can pull something from
I don't know if I took
what
notes.
would be expected to be used outside irrigation from the school.
Right.
For, the playground or the baseball field, and run a line off of that down towards the field, that might be possible, but.
That would be
We have to see
That would
what
be
they have in
fantastic.
there.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's a lot of water.
Yeah.
It's quite a field.
Yep. Yeah, that's
We'll
interesting.
put our thinking caps on.
That's all we ask. We appreciate the support of our program from the town of Webster all around.
How long ago was the last time that you remember there being the skating rink out there?
Oh God, it's been 15 years.
Been a
long
It's
time.
been 15
Yeah, because
years.
extra water from that then melting into it would be a help to start with. Of course, our rains have been weird lately too compared to the past, so none of that helps. Because normally that wouldn't actually require watering other than like when you first reseed or something, so.
Right.
But yeah, if that's gonna become a constant need, then that's something else that needs to be thought about and looked at. So, I guess, our next task would be to talk to the school, see what Fred thinks is either available or something that could be workable. Whether it's nearby or something that like could get installed, or, an extra jut out from the school or something.
Right.
That's probably the most reasonable method, even though that's not exactly ideal either. Okay. Anybody else with ideas or questions?
Question,
Yes.
does the school have a well? Where's the school get its water?
So the school has a well. The school's well is interestingly underused because they can't actually use it for any potable water due to the salt content. So it only is used for like flushing toilets and and washing things and stuff of that nature.
Is it used for watering the field, the other field, the baseball field?
That would be, I'm not sure.
Oh.
I don't know how much the other field actually gets watered. And so of course another part of that question would be salt is wonderful for plants most of the time. So maybe that would be an additional challenge for that watering concept. So again, we have to talk with the school and see what is or is not possible. Any other comments or thoughts?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for the time.
Well, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that will move us back to the tax collector for abatement requests.
Get on down.
Sorry, I was running the clerk's office solo there for a few minutes.
Nobody comes there.
Quite busy downstairs. Do I give you these pieces of paper first?
So usually you explain it, or I would explain it, what the abatement's for. and
Okay.
then
So,
you Just ask the board if they're willing to do the abatement, and if they are, then they'll
okay.
sign it.
So we have a resident who called after she received the tax bill, most recent tax bill. And she was quite concerned that it was so large. Her husband always paid that. And I looked, and the first one hadn't been paid, and she didn't know that. Her husband passed away in August. He handled all the finances. She had no idea he didn't pay the first part of it. In addition, she happened to see, she's like, what is this penalty for an inventory? A few days later, she calls me and says, we were actually just going through his briefcase and came across the document. So I guess I'm asking for two abatements, both either or whatever. One is for the $50 inventory penalty, and the other is for the interest on the first tax bill, which is $224.14.
Obviously, okay, so this, we normally don't do the inventory ones, though this is certainly different than, oh, I forgot to get it kind of thing. The second question is, you mentioned the size of the bill being a shot. Is that a problem? Are you needing to enter into a payment type plan
I
with
do not
them, or
believe so.
Okay,
I do not believe so. I think she is prepared to make the payment.
okay.
Well, the interest side of things, which you said was 200, but she seemed like she could come and make the payment for the what? The back taxes.
Yeah, the total.
Yeah, okay. And then the 50, so I'm all good with the $50. And, oh, I know what I wanted to ask you, I was thinking as we were talking. Do you know, have they always been very timely on everything over the years?
He was very consistent.
Okay,
in
yeah,
making
because I was just
payments.
thinking, you know, hey, they played, not the game, but whatever, they were
Right.
behind before
Yeah.
or whatever, but, you know, this time it was really just because, you know, she didn't know and he passed away.
And as a one-time exception sort of thing, especially when the other person was the one that handled it all the time, and it was on time all the time, then I would be inclined to not to worry about it.
Me too.
Normally, that is something that we try not to do.
Understand,
So,
understand.
Because then we could have a real fun party.
Yeah.
As
So-
we all forget things.
Are we looking at both both you're okay with?
Yep.
I think that makes sense.
I would just ask that she comes in and pays the back taxes
Absolutely.
for that to be waived.
Absolutely.
Do we need a motion or just a sign?
Just sign it.
Okay.
Can we go home now? That was kidding. That was easy.
I put it on two different ones.
Just like my powder. It's not that.
My third pen, like, just in case the select board ever forgets about that.
So you take those rest?
Yeah, I'll take it, I'll give it to you tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Or I'll put it
Thank
on
you
the-
so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
All right, that moves us on to our primary topic of the evening, the salt shed. I don't know who is expecting to do any kind of presentation or discussion or talking on this, but come on down.
Okay.
Sure. I guess I'll cue this up to start with a hopefully brief summary of to how and why we are here and asking for you to be here. It had always been my understanding that because we had the funds, we've been collecting the funds, we purchased the property, that we were to be continuing moving forward with putting the sand and salt shed up behind the public safety building. Over the last year or so, people have brought that into question, wanting or not wanting to do so. And I've put out a few pieces of information that I quickly found, just like here's when and where the fund was done, here's how when we got the property and similar. But I wasn't on the board or part of the committee that made those decisions and those recommendations to the board and to the public to move forward. So in an effort to make sure that things can continue to move forward, wanted to make sure that the full discussion and history of how that came to be and came to be the way that we're supposed to move forward is brought forward. So with that, we've invited Chair of the Conservation Committee and Commission and previous Chair, as well as previous Select Board member who have been involved with said land purchase, and I believe did a fair amount of negotiation to be able to make it happen. So please, welcome and thank you.
Thanks. So you gave us a perfect intro, so I'm going to give that history, and then Amanda's going to take over as our expert ecology person and analyzer of the site.
I just wanted to share some observations when we went out there last month.
Yeah.
Just
So,
a quick
and
question,
I'm-
since they're not quite as loud spoken as I am, can everybody hear them?
Not really
Not
that
real
well.
well.
Okay, let me grab a microphone for you, just to make it easy, so you don't have to scream at them.
Turn off.
Don't scream.
Our new heating system's a bit noisy.
He is good though.
No, it's true.
I'm enjoying it.
I turned it up about an hour before we got here, so it's nice and toasty.
Thanks, it's appreciated.
I didn't want to come up here when it was like 55 degrees up here.
Not in short sleeves.
All right, this should work. And if it needs to be louder, I'll go make it louder.
I am, but I think you'll hear me. If I speak this loudly, can people hear me? Can everybody hear me? And can you hear me?
I can hear you, can you guys?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'd rather not have to do it. So, I'm giving a very short history of what has happened. 13 years ago, I had gone down to the salt shed area. I was new to the town and saw it and walked around down there and saw a lot of sand and salt filling the wetlands. So especially to the right of the drive-in, and then the wetlands along the easterly edge approaching the Blackwater River was also filling with sand and salt. And then I became a member of the select board, and I also joined the Conservation Commission. In 2018 and 2019, the 2018, the Salt Shed Committee was formed. And the Salt Shed Committee, by the way, consisted of myself, Linda Clark, Roy Fanjoy, who I think you all know, Dan Nudd, Roger Becker, who's no longer with us, but he was an engineer. And we thought that that was a good rounded committee to look at possibilities on different geological frameworks that we found around town. And we had Emmett with us, and Emmett guided a lot of the sites that we went to, which was great. So in 2018, the Salt Shed Committee was formed. 2019, we had visited various sites, and we decided that we would go after the McAllen property, which is the property located right behind the safety building. And there was, it was 45 acres that would have provided for what at the time people were talking about, and I think Emmett might have led some of these discussions, not only moving the salt shed up there because it was high and dry, but also possibly a highway,
Department.
yes, a highway department, exactly. And some people have been talking about possibly at some future date relocating the town hall activities up to that site as well, so that everything could take place in a concise area. Anyway, that was what people were talking about back in 2019. In 2020, $125,373 was withdrawn from the Highway Land Capital Reserve Fund. And at town meeting, the select board reported that we had purchased the property, which was phase one of the assignment that was given to the committee. Phase one for the committee was find the land and procure it, which we did. Phase two would involve building a road up to that site. So a road was begun, as we know, and we had originally wanted an engineer to be available and to design a road, but that was not approved. And so Emmett went in there and did the best that he could, and then more land to the north side of the safety building was cleared, I guess, for a possible road up to the salt shed site. So,
in addition to the second entrance to the safety building.
well, the
There's now
second,
two
the second
different
entrance is one
driveways
thing.
Yeah,
And then the
but that all kind of happened at once.
okay, it all happened at once. So those trees that had graced the side of that building were all removed in order to plow through the land and possibly build a road up to the salt shed. So that's where we were. Do you have any questions? I know that you weren't involved at that time.
No, I'm paying attention to what you're saying. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So with that, you can take over.
Sure.
Yeah, I will comment there that as part of the discussion for engineer versus not, and just having Emmett do it, that was a fairly long set of discussions And there were engineers that had been quoted and engaged to be able to do that, but the decision was made that Emmett was capable enough for putting in a access way to get to the site. And so when you hear, for example, when Emmett says that he's promised me that we would have that road, and that he's going to be doing that, that's what he's talking about. So.
But have you been referring to the bit on the north side of the
We
site?
have to go on this side because there's not enough land to keep 10 feet from the boundary, or even if you don't stay,
Yeah.
to put the road up there.
Okay.
There's not enough
There were
without
boundary
major,
and drainage
major fill and
issues
money.
with the-
Boundary issues on the south side.
Yeah.
But the engineer thought that on the north side of that, the first road, the fill could be brought in to give you the amount of space that you feel your trucks need. But that's an engineering issue and a little bit beside the point right
Right.
now. So, salt shed.
Yeah. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what I wanted to talk about was just some of the concerns the Conservation Commission had regarding the current site and condition of the salt shed, all in way of supporting that the salt shed gets relocated to a better site that you just talked about. So the Conservation Commission went out with Emmett last month to take a look at the salt shed area as it currently exists. And some of our concerns are the proximity to the Blackwater River. As we know, the river runs right behind the salt shed and sand area there. And using the online maps that we have, it's a little under 70 feet from the river, so it's pretty close. And there's also wetlands right below the slope there of the sand and salt shed. And the location of the shed itself is currently within the stratified drift aquifer as well, which is a highly permeable soils that usually are used for drinking water supply. And as such, that would mean that any contaminants going into those soils would also move relatively quickly through that soil, or have that potential. And I did just, I have a map from our town website that shows the aquifer. The blue is the stratified drift aquifer, and this is the salt shed here. That's where, so you can see how it's within the aquifer. And then some of our observations we recorded with photographs that we took. Basically, what we noticed, there is a good amount of runoff happening, what appears to be during rain events. So there is sediment from the gravel and sand area that is then basically filling in the wetland area. And to the point where you can see buildup of that sediment and material in the wetlands, which is concerning and likely a wetland violation. So I have some photos that are for you guys here. So this is taken the kind of the driveway areas on your left there, and you can see the water has taken the gravel down into the area below. You can see standing water right there, the wetland area. It looks like there's been, this is another photo, where you can see that there's been some efforts to try to, kind of keep the material up there, it looks like, but it is not having, I think, the desired effect. This is another photo here where you can really see there's some erosion happening. And there's really nothing in place keeping it from going downhill into the wetland. And these are wetland grasses. This is a typical wetland habitat that you'd see. And so we're concerned about essentially the filling of the wetlands. Wetlands help contain water, both for flooding, but also for filtration and wildlife habitat. And in addition, we just want to make sure that whatever's happening out there is within the regulations and best practices as far as DES is concerned, and rules that currently exist. And this is another picture. There's kind of a gully that's formed here, and the river is it's hard to see in this photo because of the evergreens, but the river is just back this way, and there's some open water here. So the photos only do it so much justice, but it's quite steep in that area, and there's quite a bit of runoff happening with the sediment. And then another issue that we're concerned about is the sand and salt shed structure itself. So that was kind of about the land that we're concerned about, the site specific, but the structure itself is also not consistent with standards and best practices for salt sheds and storage of de-icing materials. So the structure itself, the back side of it, which is supposed to keep the sand and salt in those bays there, is compromised. There's daylight that you can see through the sides of the structure. The back supports are totally compromised, and there's also material leaking or coming out of the building there. So I have some more photos for you that we saw. So the back supports here, those are all totally broken and rotted away. So that's not even touching the ground right there. So just from a structural standpoint of containing the material, it's very concerning. Not to mention potentially hazardous for anyone nearby. And then you can see in this photo, the material, there's sand and salt coming out from underneath or within the boards and depositing there. What's not shown in these photos is that the roof slopes towards the river as well. So if there's snow that's piled up, that could also then work with the sand and salt to get towards the river. And then it was hard to capture in a photo, but the back of the shed, there's boards that are actually like bowing. It's curved from the pressure of the sand and salt in the shed, which I think is also contributing to some of the material that's coming through the back. And then I just had another couple photos here. So you can see daylight through the boards there. So salt can be going on the outside of that pretty easily. And then there's currently some salt that goes beyond the structure itself. Again, with any rain event, that is then not staying in place and is a concern for contaminating the soil and also the water nearby. So those were some of our observations that we had. And then I went ahead and took a look at some of the best practices from DES. They have an environmental fact sheet that they created specifically for storage and management of de-icing materials.
This might be what I handed out earlier.
And so the top page is just some relevant points that I found in the document that I'd like to go over, and that are all within the fact sheet behind it. So some of the items are salt sheds facilities should be located away from surface water and wetlands, which ours is not. The site should be not within the footprint of a stratified drift aquifer, which ours is. Ours is within the aquifer. there should be stormwater drainage controls to prevent runoff water and snow melt from contacting or running through loading and material storage areas. We don't have anything like that that I saw. And then storage and loading areas, so not just the storage area, but also where you're loading the material, should have an impermeable floor that extends around the building, so not just within the building, but outside of it as well. And then if using a 3-sided building, the exposed salt at the open end should be covered. Concrete pads and walls should be treated to prevent concrete deterioration. That was assuming there's a wall of concrete, which I know we have wood at least for part of the wall there. Structure hardware should be galvanized, and concrete block buildings should be waterproofed inside. And in addition, all surplus materials must be removed from the site when winter activity is finished. So the storage should really only be happening on site during the fall and winter months. And then there should also be an annual inspection and repairs carried out prior to the start of each season. So again, all of these things I just listed were in the DES fact sheet. So in short, we just, as a conservation commission, we want to make sure that we're not having any violations regarding wetlands and any DES violations. But based off of what we saw, I think that there is currently some issues that need to be fixed, and damage that should probably be mitigated. And I think we'd like to have, ideally, someone that is, Chris mentioned I'm an expert. I'm not an expert. I have a lot of experience in the area, but I think we should have somebody from DES or an equivalent come out to tell us how best to fix the area where there's been the runoff happening. And ideally, we'd have some soil testing done. There's been concerns that have been raised about salt concentrations in the water in the general area. And I think, we would just like to ideally have a salt shed structure located elsewhere outside of the aquifer. I know it takes time, but ultimately that's what we'd like to see. I don't know if anyone on the Conservation Commission would like to say anything further.
I might just point out a couple of things that Emmett pointed out to us during our visit, and he was very, very helpful with that. And one of the things he mentioned was that, the site as it is now does not allow for any expansion of the salt shed, and which makes it very difficult for him to cover all of the salt that he needs on an annual basis. I think you have 3 bays now, Emmett. You were to say that you could put 5 bays up
Yeah,
top.
but you can, I measured that up. If that pile of sand was gone, you could put another 3 bays right there where that big pile of sand is.
Okay, a possibility, but it's certainly, having it up top there would give you a lot of room to store all of that material, and of course then removing it completely from the aquifer. Thanks.
I would.
Now, did you?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I guess my question is, I haven't been directly involved in it. I did go on a site visit, but just in what updates I've heard and read, my understanding was it was going to be moved. So, is there now a change of heart that we're not going to move to that land that we've purchased, or is that still the plan going forward, that we're going to move the salt shed up to that site?
That's the real question at hand right now, because there's a group of people that do not want to do this, do not want to move it, do not want to spend any of the money, and don't think that anything needs to be done other than fixing some issues with the existing site. I don't personally believe that that's the most appropriate way forward, but that's part of why this whole discussion is being brought up.
I would like to just add that as far back as Dave Klum, if anybody remembers him, he was concerned, then this was 2010, I think, and maybe even a little bit earlier. He had voiced concern about that salt shed and said that should DES stumble upon the salt shed site, that the town could be facing a major lawsuit because of the amount of contamination that's on that site. So I'm looking forward to hearing what Addie
Yes.
has to say about this, what your
Well-
argument is.
For starters, it's like,
Hang on, I will absolutely recognize you to come and give
Yeah.
your spiel, and say what you want to. But to follow up quickly on the DES side of things, we know that DES will be poking around the area within the next few years, because DES will be involved with monitoring and making sure that the state doesn't do anything to adversely affect the river in that area while they're replacing the bridge over it.
Right.
So we know that DES will be here monitoring and looking at that area within a couple of years. So that is one of those, yeah, we should show that we're kind of in progress.
Yes.
And also then be able to say, well, we've taken care of our side. If you think there's more, since our sand and salt shed is not there anymore, it's probably from your bridge and your salting of the road, so the state should take care of it.
Good luck on that.
So it's, you know, of course, good luck in lawsuits, but it does give us a lot of logical cover for making sure that we are seen in the appropriate light as opposed to, well, you're really the problem. And so that's also part of the impetus to make sure that we continue moving in the direction that we've already started doing. With that, I know you have several comments, so please.
yes, I do. I think for starters, that the site down there, to put a new shed there, I cleared it for that firehouse and I stumped it. I know what that ground is, and by the time you get done down there, you're gonna have a fortune in it, but the worst of it is, you're on top of a hill. Where do you think all the runoff is gonna go? Where is it going? Answer that question. It always, water runs downhill. It's gonna go across into your neighbor's yard over there and headed right back to the river. So now you're gonna have another piece of land that will be polluted. And not only that, you're gonna have neighbors that got wells, that if the salt is so bad here, it will happen there. And that's how it will go. This here, you could probably fix a lot of the stuff that's happening down there with putting some concrete barriers in, put some rubber on the back side of them to help hold it, and that would take, and as far as looking at the shed after I just saw it, there's a lot of rot, fix it.
Rebuild it.
Fix it, yeah. As far as the cracks in the boards, I mean, that doesn't have sand rolling out of them. You know, you can see that.
Okay, so let me try to answer your question, because I think you're, do you mind? if
No,
I
go
do that?
ahead.
Do you have more that you wanna say? or
Well,
no?
I just think that site, by the time you get done with it, you're not, it's not the perfect place for a salt shed. And then you've got the firehouse there. So if you got so much salt mist, that's not galvanized iron on that firehouse. That salt, if it's, you know, with the mist on it, it's gonna be on that building, and next thing you know, you're gonna be roofing it and siding.
So that's a different issue, and I think that.
No, it's
Em-
not, it's all the same thing.
No, no,
with
no,
the
Adam.
salt shed.
Okay.
That's what you're talking about.
Yep.
This is what I'm talking about.
No, please. I think that there's two parts to your issue. You've got the mist issue, and then you've got the runoff issue.
Yes,
Okay, so on the runoff issue, DES has a history of dealing with sites
yeah,
that,
putting cisterns in, right?
I'm sorry.
Putting a cistern in to help get the
Well, yeah,
water.
there are a variety of options to controlling waste.
Yeah, so
Right.
What's
And-
it- where's
and
it
so
going?
an engineer,
downhill.
no, well, hopefully it would be controlled. And that's why you hire an engineer
Yeah,
to properly get things done, properly put in the salt shed. But I would also add that when Emmett was was with the committee and advising the committee, we talked about the fact that whatever the soils are up there, the soils need to be analyzed for, and you probably have the words, but for the conductivity in the soil, for things like, you know, water runoff with salt contaminants and that kind of thing.
Permeability.
I'm sorry?
I think you're talking about the permeability of it.
Thank you. And so it's all in the engineering, Addie. And yes, there would
Right.
need to be engineering.
Oh,
but-
I get that.
Well,
But
okay.
you're not gonna take and contain water in a ditch, and you're gonna have to put it in some sort of a containment, and then you're gonna have to have it pumped, and then you're gonna have to truck it off, because you're not just gonna dump it anywhere.
Well,
There's your engineering part of this. This is what they'll do, guaranteed.
okay, so I don't know if you're an engineer, but an engineer would know.
Yeah. well,
I have faith in engineers. And Roger Becker,
Yeah.
who was an engineer,
Good
looked
friend.
at the site and thought that the site offered the town a very reasonable option to what's down here at the river, because we've got 45 acres
Yeah.
that we can deal with. And so I would advise that the town hire an engineer to do a site inspection and give us his or her recommendation on controlling these issues. But I also want to say that Emmett also advised us that in his view, what needs to happen at the new site is some kind of slab, and you have the word for it, that would contain salt leaching down into the soil where the salt structure would be, as well as the area that trucks and so on carrying salt would be driving up onto. So in your
But you'd have to, if you were gonna build a new sand shed anywhere, that's how you would do it.
That's right.
That's what you
Best
said about the
practices.
engineering.
best practices. So that would be controlled. In terms of the misting of salt on Galvin, I don't
But
have,
that-
It's not galvanized, it's
But
paint.
like I explained to you folks, salt and cement don't mix. That's why they use the wood. It's like the new, getting off track here, but it's like the new fishing pier down there, that's cement, not tar. And the salt, I mean, we salt that bridge some with the salted sand, and that's what happened at the safety building in the very beginning. We put the salted sand out front, and then all that cement cracks. So that's why when all the sand sheds and salt sheds that I visited, they use tar on the bottom of them, not cement. And then that's why the state uses the wood instead of the cement, because the salt will weaken and crumble the cement over the years. So that's why the wood with the tar base, and then whatever you put underneath it for catch-all.
well, you would have to do, DES would come with recommendations and you would,
But I have nothing against engineering, but I'd like somebody to get a price on what it's gonna cost to engineer that project, because it's gonna be in the high thousands.
And then once this plan is done, we'll see how that works. That's your next thing. And there's no doubt that you're gonna have liquid, right? Rain, you're gonna have rainwater, liquid. That's
So-
gonna go into a system, and you're gonna have to have that pumped out by Clean Harbors, trucked off, and you're gonna pay for it.
So there's certainly some assumptions on all sides going on here about what will or won't happen in any case that it is there or up there, et cetera. One thing that I'm so two comments here that I'm seeing from what we've heard all around. One is that we're certainly not and haven't been doing things the best way possible. For example, making sure that the salt is always covered and can't blow away as easily or similar. And the second is that we need to build a new building, whether it's this one being rebuilt because it's all rotting and falling apart and has holes in it, or whether it's a new one. So in either case, it sounds like we're looking at the same kinds of cost outlays, whether we put it there or up on the hill, because we need to do it right and do that, regardless of where it's going to be, so that we don't make things worse. And so that's just my quick, 30-second observation spiel on this. I personally think that, yes, it makes a lot of sense to put it in the place that people have already said we wanted and bought land to do. But again, that's, I guess, for future discussion with the full board and perhaps the townsfolk as well on where and how to move forward with the exact location. But at a minimum, you've pointed out that, yeah, we really do need to get a building engineered that can be put in place to do this properly. Even if the decision is that it's in the same place, we still need to get all of that done. Does that sound reasonable to everybody as far as my 30-second takeaway? I'll let you go first since you've been talking, then you.
Okay. I failed to mention one thing that I'd like to mention, and that is the land that was purchased is not within the stratified drift aquifer, unlike the current location. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
Okay, thank you.
It's almost the same point. I feel like if we neutralize, if we balance out new building, all that being the same, we have to follow the DES regulations of how we have to build it, so we've got the same thing in either location that would have to be done. The only two things that are different about current site versus new site is stratified drift aquifer and right along the river, and those two things do not exist in the new site. And they are on the list of DES recommendations for salt sheds.
Any further questions?
Nothing money
comments?
can't fix.
Right, that's the next thing.
What's that?
This
Nothing
town
money
is
can't fix.
full of people that are retired here, and their taxes are gonna start rolling up, and next thing you know, they won't be able to pay. And over here, it's like you could fix what we got, and put some bunkers in there and fix it. Wouldn't cost as much as a brand-new building up here. When you get done, you're gonna have money up there just in the excavation, let alone.
I'm going to state that I don't see that you're going to, based on the pictures, I don't see that you're fixing what's there. You would be rebuilding. But anyway, yes, you had a hand.
Can I skip a turn, because I thought I lost my train of thought? So-
Okay.
I appreciate that you're trying to weigh things. I think that if we tried to rebuild down below on the river, what would need to happen is, and DES would say, because you can't do anything down there without DES coming in and regulating it. That's gonna happen, Addie, whether we want it or not. And that's gonna cost us money, because it's going to cost us money. You
You're
can't,
gonna need all the permits. 'cause of
all
cost
the
of-
permits to dig out what used to be wetland that is filled now. Just looking at that and repairing the damage.
I'm not saying dig the wetlands.
Well, but I'm telling you, that's what would need to be done.
You're not gonna take and, I know how DES and all this works, how things click with contaminated dirt. Don't you think I don't, 'cause I do. And that doesn't work. And the way you're gonna do what you're gonna do up here is like, you think you're gonna contain all of the runoff. Well, it's not gonna happen, because as soon as those trucks are coming down out of that road and hit out on the tar, you're gonna spill it. Next thing you know, down over the banking, and here it goes.
I don't know if that
Sand coming
happens.
off your sander. It's not, it happens.
Well,
and
it's the
so-
nature of the beast, I guess.
Yes,
Right.
it is, but the thing of it is, like over here, like looking at the back of that building, it's the braces that are rotted, that's nothing, fix them,
Back of the building's rotted.
not the whole thing.
It's not, I've watched that, I look at it all the time, I never fixed it, because the plan was to move, but that building's far from being
Junk,
junk.
right,
It's boards, it's lumber, it's a
Yeah.
few hours,
It's
it's
hemlock.
It's some
Big
hemlock
deal.
boards that,
orange hemlock.
Yes, and then we'll come back over here.
I don't care.
Do we have any money set aside?
Yes, so, to answer the money question, there
It won't be enough, but.
There currently is a fair amount that is set aside towards doing this project and has been getting set aside every single year since I've been on the board.
Almost.
How much
and
is it?
I don't have the figure right in
Okay.
front of me right now, off the top of my head. I believe we're around
25.
$60,000.
I think it's close to 160, 170 currently.
It won't get us very far.
And that was designed to be the portion that would basically take us with the access path to get up to where the site was going to be. We are in a situation now where we have spent a lot of money on the bridge, Clothespin Bridge, that is. And over mostly this year, a little bit of next year, we continue to get that money back from the state and the feds. And so a lot of that money coming back is what can likely do this project and still have some left over. So we're not increasing taxes in the process to do it. That does, however, mean that we need to have a plan so that we know the amount to put towards that, and then how much we can put towards other things as well in the process. So that's where we're trying to move and where everything kind of stalled because, for lack of a better way to put it, people said, hey, there's money, we have other ideas. And so, not that any of those other ideas are bad things, they certainly will need to happen as well, but there's been a plan for taking care of those things over a period of time that we've been moving towards with CIP and stuff in the past as well. So, hopefully, does that answer the
Yeah, I just
financials for you?
I know how much it costs to build a building, I know what concrete cost, and $160,000 is gonna get us a long way.
Yeah.
So we need to be thinking about that. I mean, is it something we should think about a bond on, or something of that nature?
No, so unless we're talking millions, which I certainly hope we're not for a shed, but we're expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000 to $750,000 coming back to the town. And so we should be able to, whatever is the correct solution, be able to put the money aside to do that without asking for extra taxes to do
Does
it.
anybody have any idea what the engineering will cost on this?
We won't know until we find it.
We've been given some rough pencil ideas for a couple things for like sites and generic building style. Those tend to range anywhere from about $7,000 to about $35,000.
I was gonna say something.
And what was that for?
For either kind of planning out if we were to build future DPW and town hall stuff as well, and where to site the
the whole
sand
thing.
and salt shed to accommodate that in the future best, and or to do the entire building and then inspect it afterwards, make sure it's being done correctly. So that's a fairly large range, but that's also because some of it includes only portions of it and some of it is most of it. So And those have all been not quotes or specific. Those have been like, yeah, we think that would probably be in that range, so reach out to us if you've got more, if you're, ready to try to do something. So that is a rough range that I would say we're probably in, but certainly not solid numbers from any engineering firms.
Mhm.
Any further questions on the finances of it before we move on? Okay, yes.
I remembered my train of thought. Okay, so the big question here is that if we retain the salt shed in its current location, we are still on the permeable aquifer, which is an important reservoir of fresh water, drinking water. And we already know that the water at the school is contaminated with salt, as you mentioned earlier. And anyone moving in downriver from that area is going to have a potential of having their wells contaminated by salt, which was an issue that Addie had mentioned. So we're still dealing with that one way or the other as a possibility. I would imagine that if DES is going to want cisterns up there, since this is sitting on top of an aquifer, they would probably want us to do exactly the same thing at the current site. So I don't see how we're really saving any money by just upgrading that site when we could do it without contaminating an aquifer anywhere that it is already is.
Okay. Any further comments on this? We are not making a specific decision tonight. This is to make sure that all of the information is actually out in front of us, and to be able to have appropriate discussions as we move forward. So,
I would just remind everyone that when the town was in favor, and there was never a town vote, there hasn't been a town vote on this yet.
other than to form the
Salt
trust
shed.
fund.
The what?
Other than to form the fund.
Yeah, the fund, yeah, that's right. And then the select board under Mike Borick was then commissioned to set forth and, find a site and negotiate it, which we've done. So now, having spent $125,000 already and gotten 45 acres for it, which are 45, well, most of it is buildable, but you wouldn't want to build most of it, the back part is. But the front part, good Lord, it's buildable. It seems imminently irresponsible not to take the opportunity that site offers us, not just for the salt shed, but for the future of town growth. And I think with the proper engineering, that's what they do. They control runoff.
Of course they do, but to what expense?
Well, there's
This
different.
is what I'm asking you,
But
what
there's-
expense?
there's
What do you
option-
think it would cost to get a road from the bottom of that up to where you're gonna go? How much do you think? To do a nice road there?
I don't know, Addie.
You'd spend a couple $100,000 time
So-
you got done.
Right, so we need to get some engineering on it and get the road, get a bid on what it would cost to get a good solid road in there that can support those kind of trucks.
I was gonna say, Emmett's already
I've
worked all
already
of
put
that
a
out.
quote
so-
together for all that.
Yeah, he's already worked out how to get us up there, so.
That's getting
Right,
you
but it
there.
needs
yeah.
to be engineered, Dave.
No, it was voted not to be engineered. The
The-
road was
the-
already
the
voted not
road-
to be
The
engineered.
road area.
The road is.
Not up back,
doesn't
but the
need to,
road
Yeah,
itself.
up there needs.
Because that's not really
work.
rocket science,
Yeah.
the road.
Up there definitely needs work, but getting.
I
the
would,
access
my
up
biggest
there.
concern would be is that once we get up there, is just to make sure that we have the proper layout with drainage, to make sure wherever we do decide to place the salt shed, you don't place it A in the wrong spot, and B, like with the foresight of someday that being your highway department. That would be my concern about making sure we have just a layout at least in, with the soils and such, to make sure we put it in the right spot, but
Do we
I
have
have
a
that
timeline?
I have the same issue of contaminate one site, contaminate another site, but I'm definitely here to listen and to
Do we
hear
have a
the.
timeline?
Sorry?
Do we have a timeline?
Um,
When is the bridge gonna be worked on?
So, okay, so the timeline for this project is, has been slipped quite a bit.
Pushed.
No, the bridge. That's
Yeah,
when we're
yeah.
gonna get paid attention to,
Yeah,
right?
getting there.
28,
And so,
okay.
so
Thank
this
you.
one is, hopefully, if everything went nice and smoothly, this would be access way this and/or next year, and then a position to put stuff and to actually build the sand shed the year following, if it's not something that can all be done at once. And so a 1 to 2 year timeline is kind of where behind this, the safety building can be done. The bridge up here, the state had said that they were gonna be starting to do stuff 26, and then actual construction should be 27.
27. So
2
20,
year.
yeah.
It's a 2-year project.
Yeah, and that's gonna
27,
take
28.
a couple years. And so they'll be working here on site, basically right above our plot, so.
The surveyor spent all last summer here.
Yep,
So I would say if DES is going to be around, it would be good to show due diligence on our part, that we have a plan in place to
Fix it.
address the issue down there. And
no matter what that plan is, but we should definitely have a plan.
And then before you guys start doing any kind of a road work, you probably should, if you're gonna do the engineering and spend the money on the engineering, you probably should figure out what it's gonna cost to put the road in, plus do what you're gonna do at the top to start with, instead of spending 35,000 for, you don't know what that's gonna cost up there if you move this thing. That could cost you $500,000 by the time you get done.
Yes.
Maybe this is a dumb question, but when I face looking at the safety building, there is a road that goes up. Is that,
So there was originally a very steep and narrow access path up the left-hand side.
yes,
When you're facing from the road. That was deemed to have the waters and the runoff and stuff, and be too close to the neighbor. And so it wasn't something that was supposed to be continued to use. And that's why the other side, or what's referred to the north side,
Yes.
that was cleared and is not as steep in the process.
right, I walked up and down both of them, but is the one on the south side, was that built for this purpose, or was that always kind of
Sort of. It was, to my remembrance, it was built in order to be able to access the land, to be able to do the tree work and stuff that was up there before we purchased it. And then after we purchased it, there was some shoring up that was done, I believe, by Emmett to make sure it was clear and be able to get up there. I think even the police chief took one of the cars up there once to make sure that it could actually be used. But then we were basically told, well, you can't really use that as access to the land as it is.
who told you that?
This is kind of recollection of those.
Oh, I never
Whole
heard
set
that
of
it couldn't be
discussions.
used.
But
I
there's a
never-
possibility that that could be shored up and,
It's not wide enough for the dump trucks to go up and down. It'd be too close to the property line.
It's
The
right on,
boundaries
it's
of
right on the boundary line, on that left-hand side going into the safety building. When we map that all out, the way that is, it's just, it's not enough. And without cutting that whole hill down and then filling in the side of the parking lot. Cause the access road that they use for logging is well onto the other guy's property.
And that was a very steep access way, whereas on the north side, it doesn't have to be as steep because you get more length.
that seems pretty close to the property line right there too.
It's
no?
very close.
And
And all the
bo-
trees were
Unfortunately,
taken down.
both sides are
Yeah.
fairly close, yes.
I mean, the town spent money paying Emmett to build a road that he said could be built to access that site.
I didn't spend any money on that road getting up there. We started, we leveled it up. There was always a road to get up back there.
Cause we used to mow up
We
there.
used to mow up there, and we went down there for a day, and we got measuring, and got the transit out, found both the boundary pins, and without oodles of fill,
Got lime from the ticks.
and, so then we came back, talked to the select board, and we started on the other side. There's plenty of room on the other side. The road's gonna be 21 feet wide if they do it. So it can be tarred, 2 lanes.
So, I think we're going a little further than we need to this evening. This is more about why we would or would not move the sand and salt shed as opposed to exactly how, because there's certainly millions of opinions on exactly how, if it's going to be moved. But this is the direction that we need to have an actual decision that's made so that we know, A, what to look for and what kind of engineering to ask for to see if we should move it, and or what kind of engineering we would need to ask for to reconstruct where it is or in the new location. And by having that information, there's a reasonable chance that we would have some estimate to be able to bring to the town for either funding that or funding that at town meeting. And so that's where we want to be in the position to be able to recommend and suggest what we think makes the most
For
sense.
this coming town meeting?
Yes.
Okay, good, good.
So. Thank you very much. Does anyone else have any further questions or comments on specifically whether it should or should not be moved and or data that's been presented around that? All right,
Shouldn't be moved.
thank you very much.
It should be moved.
No. This town don't have money enough.
All right. So that moves us on to, oh yes, we can turn this off now. We didn't actually need it, which was great. That moves us on to department heads for the highway report.
I'm to the point now, I can work with whatever's.
I know.
So thank you all for coming. If you are going to continue talking, you might not want to do it under the microphone and or in the middle of the meeting.
Yeah.
Everybody is, of course, welcome to stay as we continue. The main topics will be this and town hall maintenance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're through discussing salt shed stuff, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
For the moment.
Yeah, for the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
So I know it says on our agenda highway report, but feel free to give either or both in whatever order you feel like.
Okay, yeah, no, I just had some stuff that I shared with Marlo the other day with some stuff that you wanted some quotes. Did you want them tonight, or did you gonna do that in the work session tomorrow, or what was the plan tomorrow?
If you want to present them, that's fine. Otherwise, if you would prefer to wait and present them when John is here as well, then the work session is fine as well. I'm flexible, but however you want to handle it.
Oh, I don't, you tell me, I just wanna get along and do my part, and,
Which, are we talking about, like
Well, you
fund,
asked-
trust fund quotes, or are we talking
Yeah.
about budget type stuff?
no, not budget, I have my budget stuff, but, road projects that we worked with the CIP with, I gave them some
Okay.
information the other night, and then I just, I didn't know if you saw it or not.
I did put it in the packet.
Yeah, it has been attached, or at least some of it has been attached
I
in the
don't have
packet.
all of it, but
So I'll let you
I
present
can't print
however
everything.
much and
All
whatever
right,
much
let
you
me-
want to present.
Just give me,
But I have a question, are we also talking about it again tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right? is that something?
Well,
Okay.
tomorrow will be the budget side of it.
Did you want me to come in
Well, I
tomorrow
just
for
was trying to
the,
think, so
for
he
the
doesn't have to
budget?
repeat himself twice, but if you don't
Yeah.
think
Okay.
that's happening.
I would
John
be
will be
surprised
there.
if we don't end up talking about it to come up with a number with John.
Okay, so we'll do that
So we're
tomorrow.
doing this tomorrow.
Yes,
I
okay?
told them
That
to
makes
show up
sense.
around 2 or 3.
Sorry?
Told them to show up around 3, unless you wanted earlier.
I'm fine with whatever the projected timeline is that you guys have figured out, so.
Okay, I said 3 o'clock.
So I'll be.
And then that way you don't have to say it twice.
Correct, no, right, okay. all
Which
right.
is fine, I just was
Yeah.
trying to,
Yeah,
sense
no, me too, that's why I asked, but I did told you folks that I would have it, and so, yeah, so we can go to the firehouse stuff. The folks have been working, the new ambulance is pretty close to being in service. We did the capital area, spent oodles of millions of dollars, and we got a bunch of grants and different things. Keith Gilbert worked on that. All the repeaters are gonna be all updated and all the new radio equipment and everything. But the saddest part of all that is all the 23 towns have to reprogram the radios to make this all work. And I got a quote on that to reprogram the portables in the fire trucks, and that's gonna be $2,045 on top of what I asked for in my budget. So that's that.
When is that expected to happen?
Sooner than later, real
Within-
soon.
Within the next week, if everything gets approved, they'll be
To get the radios programmed,
program the radio.
So I
But-
could
if
cover.
So we could encumber that from this year then.
Yeah, if there's, I'll have to look to see what's to be left to encumbered from the firehouse. So, yeah, probably will be. Looks like there was 32,000 remaining, and then there will be another stipend coming out. But, yeah, so that will probably work, but we can talk about that when we come time to
Sure.
encumber.
Yeah, we're gonna set that encumbrance meeting tonight.
If you're gonna do it in a week, you're gonna need to get paid.
If it's all approved, they can do it in a week if we
Oh,
know.
I got you,
Right.
I got you, now I understand.
Okay.
We'd make it a priority.
And then the radios that I talked about purchasing, I got a quote for that, but they put $1,000 in that, $1,000 plus for installment and stuff, but we're gonna do that ourselves, so that will be,
So it would be this minus the installment.
yes,
It's $12.50.
yeah.
Pass that along. And so when would we be expecting that one?
What, this one?
Yeah.
I just wanted you folks to see the quote before I ordered them.
Okay.
Probably, if you guys are good with that, we'll order them up and get them coming, so they're under comes out of this budget.
Yeah,
is there a lot of other people that even do this?
What's that?
The radio stuff? Or is it
No, there's Bell Electronics, and then there's also P Mountain.
Okay.
That it's, when this all happens, they're all gonna be, and they are now just pulling their hair out of their head to get this done. And they won't be able to make this all happen until the last town has their radios programmed. And if the radios aren't programmed, we're not gonna be able to talk to fire alarm. And so, I don't wanna be the last one out of 23 towns that, I don't want them to be waiting on me.
When have they started?
They're starting.
But like, when did they start?
What,
Like, how long has this program?
Well,
to
we got
get
the
people-
grant, and now they're putting the towers together.
Okay.
And, it's all gonna be, Keith Gilbert just wants everybody's radios to be in place. So if it's 3 months, this is all done, then they can just turn it on and go without waiting.
Is there any chance that by the time they finish the construction that they'll need or want the programming to be slightly different at that point?
No, no, it's edged in stone, it's all, good. We did go to Boston, helped them with their fatal fire, and then the other day they had quite a fire on North Water Street. We pulled in, we were the second due, but our crew was the first in the building. And Tim Kennedy was real pleased that the help that we've been able to give him. Other than that, knock on wood, other than just a few calls, nothing serious.
Awesome.
And then the highway budget, the highway part of it, we plowed that, what was it, would we get 5 inches of snow there the other week or so ago? And then that little scud this weekend, and that's about all that's been going on.
How are we, I know that like this doesn't hold everything that we need or want for most winters down here, but how are we with our supplies based on what we have or have not had to do so far this winter, even though we're just starting?
We're doing okay. We've used up some sand, and yeah, no, we're doing okay.
Good.
On the supplies. I'm going to order a few cutting edges and some wear edges for the plows before the end of the year, because I have money for that. Got plenty of salt at the moment. Had a couple of those brought in today.
For the edges and stuff, is that, I know that we hear about it every year.
Yeah.
Is it all of the vehicles every year, or is it like this vehicle and then it waits a few years before it needs?
Oh no, sometimes
all of them?
on the wing arm, on the wing, we don't run carbide on the wing. Sometimes you might replace them 2 or 3 times in the winter.
Okay.
Carbide, try to get a couple of years out of them, but what happens is with the roads, with the crown, it takes the center of them out, and then like that scud we got the other day, you go to plow it and it's like it didn't even amount to anything. I did get a price. We have money in the equipment line, and I did get a price on a new plow the other day.
For the front of
One of the big trucks.
just the plow and the wing, or the?
No, just a plow. I have a bunch of wings that I've been using up, and we bought a new power angle plow. I'd have to talk to Wendy, but it must have been 6 or 8 years ago. This is a funnel plow, but it's power angle, so when you're in the intersections and then different things, so $11,200.
Do you have enough money in your budget?
In the equipment fund.
You do? Oh, yeah, okay.
I was gonna say, we've got a fund that we haven't been taking out cutting edges, but previously could have. And
But that
so-
equipment, yeah, I just usually take that out of the general
Right.
fund.
Mhm.
But if there's money left,
So I'm trying to.
if
pull
there's
up
money,
what we've got.
if I don't encumber all the money that's left, the 82,000 that I have in the highway budget.
Yeah, highway equipment has plenty of funds in it to take care of that.
Right, but I have 96,000 still in my regular budget. I'm gonna asked to encumber some of that for the, shipment that I didn't get done this summer.
Mhm.
But I don't know how that works, if we could take money out of that budget for the plow, or would you rather take it out of the
Equipment.
equipment, or leave the equipment fund alone?
So when you when you do the cutting edges and it comes out of the budget, which line do you typically take it from?
I take that out of parts and supplies.
Okay.
Supplies and
sense.
parts, it's listed here as.
Yep. That makes sense. And so barring any other stuff that may have gone in since the last time that I looked at that, it had $3,700 left in it for that line item. But yes, the overall budget at that time was almost 103,000
Yeah.
left. So that makes perfect sense to me.
Perfect sense to take it out of the, out of the,
To use the budget if we
to
can.
use the budget and leave that alone.
Yeah, unless
Yeah.
you,
No,
Is that
that's
the
what.
cutting edges or the plow?
The plow.
yeah, and normally I would say that the plow would come out of the fund and the
Right,
cutting
but
edges would
where
come out
I-
of budget, but since we've had we're still trying to figure out the best way to do this budget right now,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me.
Okay. So I can order that, and I'll put a PO together, or we'll just do it?
Do we have,
Yeah, over $1,000, if I
when do
spend,
we get if he has a PO and stuff to us and we've signed it, does that count? Or is it when the check goes out for which year it ends up in unless we've
I think
encumbered?
it's, we have to have the signed purchase order.
Okay,
So as long as we have the purchase order, we can cover it.
okay,
so I can get that together?
yeah, that'd be great.
Sure. What else you wanna know that I don't know to tell you?
Let's take a quick look here. So, we can go into it tonight or tomorrow, either one. The thing was with the budget, as we mentioned, we're trying to figure out where all of those should be. Like, for example, highway equipment and labor, they almost always happen at the same time. But I have no idea if the ratio is correct between them or not, because most of those numbers were what I spitballed in there based on seeing from previous years. And so, not to adjust the overall number on you, but to adjust in the line items.
In the line items.
And or do you think there should be any different line items added that would make it easier for you to work? Because we're flexible to do all of that, I just want to
Right,
make
I
it
think-
try to most
I think-
accurately reflect what you want to do.
I think if we,
Well, man, that's some confusion.
Right.
Sorry.
all right, well, let me work on that, and then I'll, see you guys, at 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock.
Yep.
Instead of going over it twice, probably a good idea, and then John will be here with
Yep,
us. And
John should be there. Yep, I expected he was gonna be here tonight until we were told he's not.
No.
So,
Which is fine.
But I think it looks like
We're getting there.
we're getting there.
yeah, I think we're getting it to work well.
Yeah.
Probably gonna need a second work session too.
Yeah,
Like
because
that.
other things have been added into the work session now
Correct.
with John not being here, but,
We'll worry about that tomorrow.
yes.
I buy a cheeseburger today, I might as well.
I saw the stuff from CIP that you put in the packet. Is that now a CIP final, or is that still a draft
Still
before
not a
they
final,
finish
it's still a
meeting?
draft.
No,
When do
right.
we expect them to finalize their
Not
suggestion?
anytime soon.
They wanted to know the other night when we met with them, and correct me if I'm wrong, Marlo, but they were kind of wondering about what money was gonna come from the bridge and all that before they made their final choice on what they were gonna spend, because well, we'll talk about it tomorrow, but I did this, I've got 4 major road projects. You asked for 5, but there's a couple of major road projects that might have to be doubled up, so actually there'll be 6 projects out of the 4 roads. So I have that already, and then I have 8 roads, quotes on 8 roads that, could be shimmed, that need to be shimmed. So,
Try to find that.
It should be in there pretty close to the beginning.
Oh, yep, I've already scrolled past it.
What I could.
Yeah, so I see that you are suggesting for
they're actually pushing towards,
road preservation, I see 4.
Yeah, but we had a computer issue.
Yeah, I was having issues.
yeah,
with-
there's
I
another
got some
whole
more out of
page
it, I
of,
got another page with
No,
construction
but
project.
Oh, yep,
this
and I
is
also see
different. I should have
construction.
probably sent it to you, Russell. It's finished now.
Oh, okay,
It's
that's fine.
all together, and I could print it, and it,
Well, even if you had sent it to me, I wouldn't have been able to get it to the board, I sent it all on Friday morning.
so anyways, if you wanna take a look at them between now and tomorrow, them are road preservation.
there's 2 there.
This is chip sealing.
Okay, so there's a 3rd page too, yeah, I only got 2 pages.
And then there's another package for,
Yeah, but,
so Dave can have one
Yeah.
and Marlo can have one.
and this is for road construction.
Thanks.
She needs that.
This is for road construction, and it looked like the CIP was pushing towards Lake Road because it was the cheapest of the projects.
Let's see, Lake Pleasant, Winnapocket, Little Lake, yep, okay.
Also, our police officer friend advocated for that one.
Well, and I think the thing about Lake Road is it's been talked about. And it's
Yeah, no, I wanted
way
to, I
past
wanted to
due,
do that
due to other people telling
18
them what
years-
not to do. So
18 years
let's-
ago, so,
Let's move along here.
Yeah,
Let's
and
get
Lake
some
and
stuff
Pleasant
done.
have been, Lake Pleasant and Little Hill have all been mentioned multiple times on multiple plans that Emmett's presented, so.
and then
It's good to see that,
I did tell the CIP the other night that I would, get a quote on the final topping of Detour and Pleasant, which I do have. I can give that to you now, or if you wanna wait till tomorrow,
Probably just do that tomorrow.
and just make sure that Russ has a copy of it so that he can,
Yeah.
so that we all
Yeah,
are looking
yeah,
at it
yeah,
tomorrow.
but Susan's been helping me with all this, and,
Thank you.
which I'm grateful for, to have good help, and
It's a lot, that's for sure.
but that will give you something to study. Cause you don't sleep at night, you're,
Yeah, these are the same, so we can each have a copy,
When you go to bed, I'll be up.
and these are not, let's see, this is road preservation, and chip sealing. So
Right,
do you
well,
have
that
this copy, do you have a copy of this?
I do.
Perfect. That way we each have a copy
This
of both of these.
is great, Emma, this is what,
Okay,
it's
so
nice to be
oh,
able to.
Susan put that together.
Okay.
And you have a 3rd, I think you could give it to Russ.
Yeah.
Susan,
Yeah.
this is
The only
great,
thing
thank you.
is your recent one isn't on there, the one that he just got back to you.
Right, for tomorrow.
Mhm.
I'll copy that off tonight,
Okay.
cause he just emailed it to me, cause it got lost somewhere, so. Any other questions?
No?
I think that's good on that side of things. Unless you had anything further?
No, no.
Okay, thank you very much, and we look forward to more of that discussion tomorrow.
Okay,
We're waiting for tomorrow for anything else, correct?
For budget? Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't put it on there because we're gonna be discussing it tomorrow, I thought it would be overkill.
yep. All right. That would move us to old business and maintenance. Do we have anything further for Emmett?
I don't think so.
Because that's all tomorrow, right?
Right.
Okay.
The only other thing that we might wanna do before they leave is choose when we're gonna do the encumbrance meeting. But we don't have John here either, so it's gonna get a little difficult.
Well, when do we have to do
We
that
have to do
before
it
the end of the year?
Before the end of the year.
we usually do it after Christmas and pick a day between Christmas and
Year.
the new year, and,
I mean, we could do Monday the 29th.
Monday the 29th. Let's just pencil it in so we have it. Do we get, we should,
This is basically, I mean, it's during all the breaks and everything, so, but,
during the day or at night?
During the day.
Watch it snow.
I would suggest that if the only thing that we're gonna do is encumbrance, then, like, it should be all of 10 minutes of us saying
Wow.
yes or no to encumbrance presentations.
We can also leave some wiggle room if we need
But-
to work on the budget more.
But if we
Yes, I
need to
think
do
we're still
other
gonna be there.
things, then perhaps a evening meeting as per usual would make more sense. Thankfully, it's not,
I like Marlo's face there, cause I said,
yeah,
same.
thankfully, it's not right before New Year's. It's 2 days before New Year's Eve.
How about a late, now why night? Would it, just if somebody wants to come?
A, so that people can come if they want to, and B, because I'm usually watching some people and during the day.
So can we make it earlier at night and not as late? Can we
Like
make
when?
it like 4, 5?
We could probably do 5 if we needed to. Because that shouldn't be a long meeting, so we should be able to go home and have food afterwards and not just be starving.
Well,
Sure.
depends if we work on budget.
Fair?
It'll all be good,
Yeah, well, I'll be good.
as long as it's not, well, even if it's snowing, I can stop for a minute.
All right, so we will pencil that in. And do you have another time that you think makes more sense, or another day, I should say?
I'm just a little bit like, I'd rather try to do it before dinner, not after dinner, I guess is my thing.
Gotcha.
But I know that, yes, I mean, like, I can get out of work at 3:34, be here by 4:30, then at least we're only here for an hour and then go home and do our thing.
You want me to bring pizza?
Yes. No,
And beverages?
a pillow.
Okay.
4 o'clock, and then you get to 4 o'clock, because you're tired.
Yeah, especially when you get up at 3 in the morning to make sure the buses can go.
Yeah,
Because you're
right.
gonna say, if you're plowing all night, then it's very different.
No, I feel for him way more than myself, but I naturally am up at
Which,
3:34.
thank you to both of you and all of your staff, because
You look great,
that
good
is
job.
not easy to do.
Well, you know,
It's part of the fun.
if you like doing what you do, and everybody's working together and everybody's happy.
Not so bad.
It's awesome. And, I mean, it's like, I went to Pennsylvania deer hunting, when we got that first 5 inches of snow, and I kept getting texts from the police chief and the lieutenant that the cars were stuck and nobody could go and get your ass home. And no, they both texted me and said what a great job the crew did, and they were there with them, and Susan, and they even stopped and checked on her, and they're great guys. And I'm lucky to have the people that take care of me. You too, Russell.
Thanks, Em.
Before you get off from department head,
Yes.
at the last meeting, you asked me a question about whether I wanted to encumber or to have, spend some of the money out of my budget for extra ammo.
Okay.
So I'm rough estimate, I'm gonna have between 20 and 22,000 left over in my budget.
I can spend it.
Is there a chance that I can take under $1,000 of that and spend it for ammo? I just don't wanna overspend that line item by that much.
Yeah, if you're currently underspent and expecting to stay that way through
Oh,
the
yeah.
year,
Yep.
then I think we would all be in favor of you encumbering,
That way I don't
especially
have
if
to
it
ask for
could
more money for next
reduce
year.
future budgets.
Thank you.
Could you clarify something for me?
Absolutely, or at least I'll try,
So,
or make it make less sense.
through the years, working for various select board people,
Yes,
Can't count them all on both hands.
it seems like we were told many times, and this will relate to your question. We don't overspend the bottom line, that's all they cared about. And with your question, like I'm about what's in what line item, very much so, for our budgets at home and for our businesses. And when you just said that earlier to Emmett, do you want it to be different? Going, nobody's ever asked this before, it's always been like, we'll just plunk some money in there and.
Well, no, Dave's been after me to get that.
No, and I didn't
in
know
line,
that,
and
and I guess I just, are we off that premise that if we don't overspend the bottom line, we're all set? Or is it, you don't mind moving things around within the budget, or you do mind moving things around?
So, for me, it's not, so if you're staying within budget or under budget, that's awesome. That's
Okay.
the
That's the
ultimate
goal.
goal.
Okay,
And to me, the line items, I want them to be as accurate as possible.
Okay.
So that when someone says, well, why is that line overspent by 3,000, but there's, 5,000 or 10,000 left in the other line? It's not, I don't know.
Right,
We
okay.
just kind of guessed at the numbers. Most of the places we have the line items fairly broken down as to this goes in this line item, we expect this much per this year. And so the one place that I don't have that kind of clarity is in roads. And so I'm trying to help continually get it more and more accurate and
Close,
detailed,
yeah.
so it's closer.
okay.
It's not that there's a problem with what's there, I'm trying to make it closer so that it more accurately reflects what is intended and expected and normally happens. So, does that answer your
Yeah,
question?
I was going off from prior.
Yeah,
It's still the same premise, but you want it a little closer. And I
Yeah.
get it, because we're very much like that at.
Well, you are.
Yes, you guys are, but I am.
yeah, it's mainly because, we've been explaining more about the budget and the details of the budget over the past several years, and people are starting to understand it more.
Right,
And so when people look at the details, we want the details to be more accurate and obvious.
Mhm.
So hopefully they don't have to ask more.
Right. It all depends on which way Mother Nature blows.
see, and that's
Yeah.
part of
No,
what
it is, 'cause it
your
could be
has
all-
always been.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It
And-
could
and
be all
I
tree
get where
work.
he's coming from, but I also can feel,
Yeah.
I feel a little the other side.
Yeah,
I'm
because it
sorry,
could be
it's like-
all, it could be all labor and
Yeah.
cleaning up trees,
Yeah.
or it could be all
Exactly.
gravel,
Yeah, because I
or,
was thinking about, there's been some years where we've
Yeah.
like,
But it is nice to see what is what is what.
Well,
I mean,
like,
granted,
if
I
there's
know
a year
you,
that's
yeah.
all labor, then the labor, hopefully at that point, shows that it's over, and you explain, well, that's because it's all been labor doing this. And so now people know, oh, you've actually been doing all of this kind of work, and it tells itself, so everybody knows what's going on. And again, it's not a problem, it's to this is where we kind of average and expect
well,
to.
if you wanna know what's going on, just get on Facebook.
Oh, everybody will tell you exactly what's not going on the way they like there. So,
Are you good?
I'm good.
All right, drive me home.
all right.
God, she prepares all the paperwork, now she's gonna drive you, what the heck?
I guess we'll make it easy for you.
I think we're all trying to
There'll be
make
no
it easy, but
questions.
not necessarily all thinking about it in the same way, so.
All right.
Anything you need from me? Do I need to stay, or I'm seeing you tomorrow anyway?
Well, we got the reviews in from the chief today, so.
You have all that stuff.
Are we looking at,
I don't either.
dollar figures for changes for January 1, or do
Did
we
you
only
provide
have
those
copies
with
of
them?
that?
Everything's in there.
Okay, so we'll go over that tonight. You wanted to stay
And
for that?
you can discuss that tomorrow too when I come in.
Well, that's
You're
true.
coming in, well,
I'm coming in at
we
1
have a
o'clock.
lot of things tomorrow.
Well, I think John
so-
also expressed he wanted to be a part of that conversation for the.
Okay.
That's right, I
Then-
figured.
Then I'll leave that for John tomorrow then.
Good.
So I think we're good. Thank you very much.
Excellent, no, thank you.
You can send me a copy of the stuff that Emmett couldn't print last week.
Yeah, I can have that
So, yeah, so
too. Yeah, I can get it to you.
I see locks along the siding. Should Chief be involved with the locks conversation at all?
I
or
mean,
is
if Chief
that-
wants to, I'm not talking about these locks, I'm talking about the front door.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
See you,
that-
Dean.
that's probably fine. Thank you very much for coming.
Those doors, we're still having a problem getting the vendor to come out and finish it. And it's been a year and a half. So that's
I mean, we haven't paid them for it yet, have we?
I don't think so. Not all of it, about half of it.
Hmm.
We paid them for the work they've done, we haven't paid them for the work they haven't done. And they work, they're just not fully programmed yet.
Ah,
So you can use your keypad up here, I can set it so people can't come in and use it, but Dana said there's still something that need to get done, I don't know what it is.
interesting. We should talk to him about that when he comes back. Speaking of, do we have any updated expectations or reports or notes from Dana, other than hopefully he's doing well?
He expects to be back in the beginning of January, that's what he told me on the phone last week.
Okay.
Wendy
Awesome.
was mad because he's like, oh, well, you can drive in 10 days, and that's before the new year, you should come back. I'm like, Wendy, it's Christmas time anyway, just let me know until the end of the year, and then come back after the holidays.
Yeah.
That's not the end of the world. Granted, nobody wants him back more than me, because,
You're getting done, and this time, I mean, granted, this.
I mean, I am getting it done, it's just today was kind of, I was really sick last night, I'm not feeling good today, but there's, you know what it is, it's like,
Yeah.
you have
You
duties.
keep that right over
And
That's why
we're
I'm
going
far
through
away.
the end of everything, so.
That's
yeah.
why I'm staying far away, but.
Oh,
All right, so tell us about our old business and the town hall maintenance.
So the first thing I wanted to talk about is I wanted to get clarification if we're gonna be going with the vinyl siding on all sides of the building. That way I can start putting that out to bid so we can get the quotes in. So we have time to set up something for warrant article time. Cause that's gonna be expensive. It really needs to get done next year cause the building's
Yep.
falling apart.
What do you think, vinyl at all, or do we wanna make
I'm
it
gonna
more
say this
expensive for the?
From everybody I've talked to,
for the-
everybody's like vinyl the damn
yeah,
thing.
yeah, I'm not stuck on, and they're gonna improve vinyl so much.
Yeah.
To what, back in the day, you know, maybe when they even first came up with it, cause, you know, I would even consider it. But that might think somebody else I was crazy, but, yeah, yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm especially having heard from both historic and other folks that, yeah, it's not historic, it's all fine. I'm-
Well, then the misgivings of it all.
Everybody who I brought it up to, not a single person has said go with the higher price for the artificial clapboards. Everybody's like, vinyl it, don't paint it, because it
Yeah.
doesn't last long, just vinyl the damn thing.
So,
And then we don't have to worry about it again.
I think that makes sense.
And so I will go out and I'll contact 2 different companies, since we already have one, and I'll let them know we're going with the vinyl quote. We're doing bids, cause we have to. And then we'll have an idea of how much we
And
need
just
to.
make sure that, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about vinyl, but I'm sure there's cheaper vinyl and more expensive vinyl. Just make sure it's the, I don't.
Make sure it's all decent and similar quality.
Yeah, and is it close to having that feel as a real vinyl?
Right.
And none of them will have a clapboard look, not as
No,
vinyl.
some of them do. They're just not the same type of
Really?
The-
material.
thought that's what-
They'll have like a wood grain texture to
Yeah, they
them,
will.
but they're all the like standard vinyl siding.
Well, what the guy was
Yeah.
telling me, and what I was talking to Stephanie about, who just had her house done, vinyl's come a long way.
Well, that's what I
But
was.
the way
that's
they
what I
make
was
it look
thinking.
artificial, it looks a lot better than it used to.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's what
so
that's what I'm saying.
I think we're not in a bad.
I just don't
place.
wanna go with it, you know how you could go like, well, even tracks, right? The stuff that goes on your deck, there's better than others.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so just make sure we're doing like the middle of the road.
That was
And
basically,
somebody's not quoting us the low end, so it's quoting us
Right.
the,
Yeah.
and I wanted to
yeah.
go back to the guy we originally got the first quote from to say, this is what we're deciding and we're doing, and let him know, we're gonna go out to bid, so if you're gonna wanna
I
see.
even think when they're building all these
Then you're
fancy new place, safety buildings in Meredith and all that, aren't they, they're probably using vinyl.
Almost
there.
everything gets vinyl these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Say, and what I'm saying is when you go buy them, they don't, back in the day, you could go buy a vinyl and you say, oh, that's vinyl. I just don't feel like you see that like you used to.
I
So,
remember
anyways,
somebody
enough of
bought
that, I didn't mean to
vinyl.
carry it on.
Versus aluminum siding.
Right.
Yeah, no, stuff was good too. Locks, this comes up because we were having issues last week with people getting in and out of the building, and we don't know who's going in and out of that front door. I think Dave knows a little bit of this background because we had a lot of keys made in the past, we don't have a lot of keys remaining,
Mhm.
and we don't know where all the keys are. So Robin, who was taking over the trustees, had stuff that was unplugged on that computer, like the network cable was unplugged, it was plugged in the wrong spot. she was having stuff were moved around in there, and it wasn't Mary and Stephanie, and we don't know who was in there. Well, I did figure out who it was eventually. But if they used the physical key, there was no record that they came in and out of the building. So who it ended up being was the supervisors, the checklist had come in, which they didn't post their meeting, and I'm gonna have a conversation with them about that, that you need to post your meetings. And the only reason I found out was at the funeral, when I was sitting with,
Was it all of them in a meeting, or did like
Two
they
of them.
come in to
two of
do
them were
one
doing
or two things?
to do their supervisor stuff.
Oh.
So they have little supervisor meetings that they have first thing on a Friday morning before I even get there. So I don't know they're there. And the only reason, what was it, Ben Nato, who was at the funeral, and he said, "Oh yeah, you looked at me weird when I was in my truck the other day when you came in on Friday." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's because I didn't know who was in the parking lot. And normally sometimes there's people meeting me there. And then usually when I get out and I go in and I open up the hall, they come in right after me and then attend what they got to attend to." But this person just drove off, so I was like, okay, whatever that was. And then he told me that they had a meeting, and I'm like, it all lines up because they need to connect to the network, so they unplug the network cable from the back of the computer, plug it in the supervisor of the checklist laptop, and it all kind of lines up. So that's what happened. But I think it'd be a good idea to change that lock
They shouldn't have to be swapping plugs.
so that I know who's coming in and out of the building
Yep.
and when they're coming in and out of the building. Because once we change that lock, I think we're going to find people coming out of the woodworks. And this goes back to the story when Dana first started here. Did he ever tell you the story of the car? That he collects these model cars, and he had one of the model cars in the window, and then all of a sudden a second model car showed up,
Oh, yes.
and we have no idea who came in and did that. And somebody put a football in the model car, and we don't know where that came from either. And things just started getting moved around and put in. We just don't know where it comes from. Somebody has a
And
key.
see, that's a little bit even more concerning, because it's not just the front door, it's also when they have keys to at least one of the two offices.
Right. So it makes me think.
Which, full disclosure, I have, but.
I'm guessing it was
when-
probably a former select board member.
When I was given those, when I joined the select board, I was only given the 3 keys that I have, which are the conference room, the front door, and your office, because they couldn't find any more keys for any of the others because they hadn't ever come back.
Right, and my thing is if we change the front door key and we change the one going into the kitchen, so that locks, and then nobody can get into the offices without
Without a card.
without a card or a
Yeah.
D-pad.
If we move to the access card, then all of the
Because
questions go.
everybody's gonna come out of the woodworks who
Well,
keeps
let's
keys
put
in
it to you
there.
this way, you didn't spend the money on an access key to then have it
Not
be
use it.
half.
So I was gonna try to
So that's any,
contact
we don't even need to talk about it anymore, get some new
locks.
locks,
Get it
please.
done.
It's just.
Because I don't
that's-
care about up here, here's fine, whatever, as long as they can't get into the important stuff, well, other than the equipment back there.
I just think what it boils down to is you don't spend that kind of money to not make it fully
And speaking
secure.
of doors, I had another fun moment the other day, because the kitchen's always been really cold. I'm like, so the heat's on, like, I keep it at like 55 so the pipes don't freeze. Because if it's next to the side of the building on a really cold day, even if it's 55 in the middle, the pipe could still freeze if it's not warm enough. Even though Wendy keeps turning it up to like 63, and I'm like, Wendy, it's a lot above freezing, don't worry about it. But I go in and it's in the morning, and then all of a sudden I'm like, there's light coming through the wall between next to the door, like the door frame.
Oh,
and
between
s-
the door frame and the cement.
and the cement. But I'm like, I can see light, so I call Stephanie in because she's in the passway. I'm like, text Stephanie, look over there. Do you see what I'm saying? And she's like, holy. So you can literally see the light coming through. So I need to have somebody call to come take a look at that and see if we can
Put a new little strippy in there.
put a little new strippy in there. So those are the only really maintenance issues. I just really, the big one was the locks and the vinyl side. And now that I know that, I can move forward with it. You want to go on to the next one? That's an easy one too.
I want to ask a dumb
Oh,
question
sure.
on the maintenance. Because I know we've now finally got the railings and stuff towards ADA compliance.
Right.
I know there had been a huge sticking point with what's going on with the bathroom. Do we have anything further or future or?
So I think, depends, we have to look at the budget, see how much we're about to be able to do in the bathroom. The sink's gonna be a bit of a harder replacement than it would be for the railings. The railings are gonna be a little cheaper. The other thing that we probably need to look at too is getting rid of that urinal.
Yeah, I know that's been a continual.
Because if I'm gonna have
brought up.
somebody to come in to do the sink, I think it makes sense to have somebody do the urinal at the same time and get rid of that thing, or figure out a different urinal, because Brenda can't change the filter in it, it gets stuck, it starts to smell.
That's still happening?
Oh, yeah. And then when it gets really stuck, we have to call the plumber out and get it out. It's just not a fun urinal. I'm seriously thinking of just putting it out of.
That's the description I've always expected, is to hear that a urinal's fun.
Yeah, it's just it's not a good.
Well, it's more fun when it doesn't stink.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I kind of want to put an out of order sign in it so people don't use it, because when somebody uses it, you know for like 3 days, because it smells so bad. It's gross.
Yes, go ahead and have the, if we get a sink, have
We
the
just
guy
gotta make
take it
sure we
off.
have enough money in the funds.
I think we should definitely at least get some quotes on that.
Right. But I think when we do the sinks,
That shouldn't cost all that much, unless you don't go them back. Maybe, I don't
no,
know.
because we have to replace the sink in that bathroom as well, because it's not, or it's the ladies' room, it's not. I think it's either. I think it's the ladies' room.
The guys' room is fairly tall and it sticks out.
Yeah, I
So
think it's the ladies' room.
probably okay.
I think it's the ladies' room, it's not, that they have an actual cabinet in
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would make.
there. Which you
not
can't have, because
wheelchair.
somebody needs to be able to pull a wheelchair underneath it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the last real thing for ADA compliance that we really need is, and maybe when I get somebody to look at the door for the keys, we may find somebody who can put the button in where the door will and we still need that down there.
Okay.
But
So
that's
yeah,
about it.
getting quotes for that so we can hopefully button that topic up too would be wonderful.
And we've started on the website, so that's good too. I put in everything they've asked me for. I'm gonna ask for an update this week to see how we're doing on it.
How have things been going with speaking of tech stuff, how have things been going with the new tech company? I know they had problems getting stuff from the old tech company, but.
Well, we had a
where
bump
are
and
we?
start, and I talked about it with John Clark, we had a bump and start with Mary, where I was at the conference, and she needed to get a hold of them, because she couldn't connect to Avatar. We had the internet, but she couldn't connect to the state. So it was something on our end, because the state was up. We called in to put in a ticket, so she called me, because she didn't know who to call. So I'm like, well, let's look up Armand Technology, call their main line, tell them you're a new client, you just started today. Explain the issue, and then they never called her back, so I wasn't very happy about that.
Yeah, that's not good.
So John Clark suggested that we have them come in for another meeting, and they said they didn't want to come in for the meeting, because we need to talk to them about that. That's a severe ball drop on the first day of the job. We get it, that you're new. And even though they're more upset, but I'm more upset that they never called Mary back. Like, I understand, if you're gonna send somebody up from Manchester, it's gonna take about a half an hour to get there. But somebody should have called them right back and then asked her what was going on, and then
Well, they might have been able to walk her through it.
walk her through it or remotely
Yeah.
fix it. And that was the biggest issue. So that's where we are with that. Everything else has been going pretty smooth. We're just adjusting to the new system. And they are pretty on top of things, because I said I wanted to do something like a week ago, and they keep hammering me about it. I'm like, I do, okay.
So when are we expecting that we have the sit down with them of like, this is what's here, this is where we recommend you go, and.
Right, and I think we're gonna have another one of those meetings. I wanna do it when they get us a quote for the server replacement, because that has to happen too. And I figure if we're gonna have them sit down and talk to us about the server replacement, we can do the other stuff.
Were they able to figure out what was up with the Cisco renewal thing?
No,
essentially?
I contacted Cisco, and I sent 3 emails at this point to Cisco saying, well, you shouldn't be the contact for the renewal, one, because you're the chair of the select board, and I'm always gonna be the chair of the select board, and I need to be on the select board. So this one should be going to Dana or me. What is it for?
I believe the way that happened was because the tech company was the primary contact, and I said, let's make sure that we get a copy of stuff too, so they added me.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they should have added Dana, but I believe it was the tech company that was the primary.
Well, the
and I
problem
just
I'm having
kinda
right
looked
now
it up.
is Cisco isn't responding to me. I can't call them and get them on the phone and talk to an actual person. and I'm not getting a response when I send an email to the person saying, what is the service that we're getting?
Did the tech company respond to which one they thought it was, or?
They don't know what it is. So they responded to me. And I said, because we're the owners of whatever it is, I was gonna contact Cisco, because it's under our name, and I contacted Cisco.
Yeah, so
And then I
it's-
figured, once I figured out what it was, we can transfer it over to them to manage
So-
it. But I
so
need to
it
know what
will-
it is first.
It will either be the firewall here, the
Yep.
firewall at the police, or the previous firewall for, we used to actually have two of them that ran here. And so it may be the one that we don't use anymore that used to be here.
Right.
But it's, all of them were firewalls, and they were one of these two buildings. So the tech company should be, because they did their inventory thing now, right?
I think we're still working on it.
Okay, well, whenever, or if they've done that for that equipment, they'll have like serial numbers and other stuff, which this will be tied to. So they'll be able to tell you, yeah, that's this one, or no, the two that we have are these, and it's not that, so don't worry
But
about
they
it.
haven't come in since the first one when they went through, and they were in here for a couple hours when they first came in, so I haven't seen anything from that. I wasn't there that
Okay,
night.
so yeah, having a meeting that discusses that and.
But I'm
what they
having
found.
very much difficulty trying to get
Yeah.
the Cisco people to respond. Which you'd think you'd want my money, so I'm not sure why they don't respond.
Getting Cisco to respond and it not happening is not surprising to me,
Okay.
as someone in the tech industry.
I guess just, we want to renew this, just let us know what it is.
Cisco doesn't care about you, you have a small business thing. Cisco starts to care if I call, if I'm Siemens or GE or.
Yeah.
Right. If you're not that level, they don't want to bother with the phone call. Anyway. All right, so anything else for town hall meetings you can think of that you want to discuss?
No,
All right, so that brings us to the meeting schedule.
Okay, so we have a bunch of those fun dates, you know, the ones where it lines up on a holiday. And then the planning board and the select board are on the same day.
I thought the planning board was Thursdays.
I
We
wish we could go back
usually, when it's
Thursdays.
on a holiday,
We
we
take it
usually
back.
do it the day after the holiday, if the holiday falls on a Monday. So in September, September 7th is the Monday where we normally have a meeting. The ZBA meets the second Tuesday of the month, which is the 8th. So,
But we're first and third, right?
first and third, so
Yeah.
Monday, September 7th. And then Monday,
Oh,
September
gotcha.
21st. Monday 7th is a holiday. The second Tuesday of the month falls on the 8th, which could be a ZBA meeting, if we have one. And then we have to decide who's gonna be in the hall that day. I assume we put the select board on the 8th, because the ZBA doesn't necessarily gonna meet. And then have the ZBA switch to the 9th, if they meet. Because it's not guaranteed, it's not like the planning board.
I mean, is there any reason we can't both meet? We've got another conference room
I can't be in
downstairs.
two places at once. I can't be up here and down there at the same time.
Fair, but we do also have a town administrator. You're not the only person.
Well, it's true.
So, I would suggest not necessarily having to worry about that.
I was just
if
saying
it
not move the
happens.
8th and then put the ZBA on Wednesday the 9th. Cause like I said, there's like a 50-50 shot or a 25% shot that they're even gonna meet.
Yeah.
I just need to make sure I post it ahead of time. And I think that's the only time that lines up like
You
that.
said that was January?
September.
Oh, September. September. Yeah, I mean,
I think I already said it for the
I don't
ZBA,
really see
but
any other,
I think that's the easiest
I mean,
solution.
it's Labor Day, I don't see other specific national holidays there.
No, most of the
typically
other stuff
done.
doesn't cause a problem, it's the only one that's gonna cause a problem. And it
Okay.
caused a problem this year too with the planning board and the select board.
Yeah, I'm fine with planning it to be on the 8th instead of the 7th.
Okay, that's Steve's reviews.
And
that's-
we're not discussing the other meeting dates, right? That's for each of those. and
No,
then it eventually
the other
gets
meeting
published.
dates are already set,
Okay,
so that was the only one that I wanted direction on, because I'm posting that at the end of this month, so that we're posted for next year. And I didn't wanna have what happened this year where people got confused in September, because we had 2 meetings on the same date, so I wanted to get it set in stone before it happened.
and so with, just because it's different than before, during this year, at some point, you switched from Thursday to Tuesday for planning board. Is that s-
Tuesday was last year, the beginning of last year.
Oh, last year that it changed, okay.
Or beginning of this year, was it beginning of this year?
Yeah, it was
I'm
sometime.
pretty sure it was sometime this year.
I agree, because I'm
I think
like,
we
I wasn't
said-
here for that. I would've probably said no.
So my question is.
Well, they switched it so Emmett could go, the only problem is it's always right after the select board meeting now.
Yeah, but he doesn't go on the Tuesdays.
So,
Love you, Emmett, but it's like.
well, I thought that was primarily for CIP work, for when they
That
wanted it
is.
to go, but, so is Tuesday the way that the current board is feeling, or are we likely to see this change again?
I don't know, that's up to the planning board.
Okay, so have they approved this, that it's all those Tuesdays going forward?
So they've already
next
said
year?
it's the Tuesday unless they change it, and I'm not gonna worry about it. And they
Okay.
haven't said anything that they wanted to change it.
Okay,
I brought it up to you because we had that one special time where 2 meetings overlapped.
yep, okay, it's fine by me. You have any?
Fine.
All right, and then we have signing and approvals, and a little bit of correspondence.
So my question on the, motion with the trust funds, I see that a lot of this is coming out of highways and roads, and then,
I talked to Emmett about it, he wants it all to come out of highways and roads, so.
okay. So it is all supposed to come out of highways and roads, not the budget,
Correct.
except for the overage,
He
okay.
put all, he's been putting all the newer bills in for the regular budget, but,
Yep, yep. Well, I mean, if it's,
and then I think he's got numbers for the.
because there's
improvements.
construction projects, and then there's preservation stuff, which is out of the budget, so, and this is all the construction project, and, I mean, I'm not looking at every single, invoice, but, you know, there's a whole lot of, like, Bosquen sand and gravel, GMI asphalt and stuff, so that's all gonna be detour.
Yeah,
So, all right, have you had a chance to look at that? Do we have the invoices, since she normally looks through them?
the invoices are all on the computer, if you want them.
It's all
I can
right.
show them to you.
Okay.
Cause, well, I don't know if Wendy keeps them physical, I don't know where they would be, but I know where they all are on the
Gotcha.
C drive.
Okay. So you ready for that? All right, I would move to request the trustees of trust funds issue a check in the amount of $219,097.74 payable to the town of Webster to reimburse the town for expenses to be withdrawn from capital reserve and expendable trust funds as listed. $186,660.36 from the Highway and Roads Capital Reserve Fund, $4,514.24 from the Bridge and Culvert Capital Reserve Fund, and $12,500 from the Municipal Property Maintenance Expendable Trust Fund, and $1,533.34 from the Welfare Expendable Trust Fund. Again, that total is $219,097.74.
So we just put money in.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I guess that moves us on to signing and minutes. A minute correction thing is the CPC&H refresh policy portion. I don't believe I misspoke on this, but this is saying that the new policy would require that refreshes happen monthly, and that's not
I thought
true.
we already changed.
It's that some of the towns had moved towards monthly. The CPC&H is expecting that it will probably do quarterly, much like it has previously done. But the motion was to use their normal fresh schedule. And then the motion says to only change, but it's to only do the refresh when CPCNH rates would be the same or better than the standard utility rates. So a minor correction, even though, well, it's substantive in the correction, but a minor correction to language. I just wanted to make sure that that's the way that you remembered it, as I didn't want to change something in the past if I was just not speaking correctly, in which case then I'd have to represent.
amend the motion.
Yeah, then I'd have to amend and represent, but I think that will be good there. Did you see anything else in the minutes?
Yep, looked good to me.
Okay, so I would move to approve the minutes as amended.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, right, we also had non-public minutes in there. I should call those out
I should have had one other
specifically.
set of minutes too, which I didn't include.
And
That
that
was the
will
work
be
session with Warner.
non-public from
Public
November
portion.
12 and November 10. Wait, was that, were they both non-public? I don't think that was.
There was the non-public at
Oh, that was a.
And then there was the non-public with
Oh,
Warner.
yes, okay. Mhm. Yeah, so those two non-publics, and I would move to approve those as well.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that should take care of that, which leaves us with still no public comment, as they've all had their comments publicized and left the building. We didn't cover correspondence. Is there any correspondence
There is a
while we
couple
do
pieces
signing?
of correspondence. That's the visa bills. Look at the visa bills, sign them. One, I got a quote for the new town report, which I do every year.
Mhm.
It's gonna be $1,658, which is about the same as it was last year. It's not that much of an increase. I also am gonna be posting the bridge is, they're gonna be holding a public meeting for the bridge. I just forgot to print the email, so it's not in here, but I told them they could use the hall for it, but I think it's January, the middle of January.
Okay,
So I'm gonna post that on the website.
and we probably need to approve that. So I would move to allow the state presentation to happen in the hall here for the bridge work.
I second.
All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
I have a couple abatements. These are campground stuff, the usual, it's registered. One of them got a property inventory penalty they're not supposed to. And then 2 indent cuts. Addie's been busy. We're gonna be busy.
Speaking of intent to cuts and timber, one of the things that I noticed in our revenue reports and such that I'd gotten is that over the last several years, and again this year, there is $0 shown as revenues received for timber tax and yield tax.
It's because it all goes to the Conservation Commission.
No, it does not.
Isn't that what it was voted for?
No, that's the land use change tax.
Oh, right.
So we should be getting our yield and timber tax.
I don't know, I'm not the one who does that report, that would be Wendy or Dana.
So we haven't seen anything in there, so,
Unless it hasn't been updated yet. I know we have one person with a bill that hasn't paid yet. I just got another report of lumber cut today.
because it's been in our, it's
Well, it
been in our
depends on
budget
if
every
we-
year, and every year it shows 0, and I know we've had cuts happening.
Yeah. I'd have to talk to Wendy.
Yeah, so I wanna know what's going on with that, because it doesn't make any sense.
And that is it for that. And then we have non-publics to go over the reviews for personnel.
Okay. Anything further for public sessions at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right, then I would move to go into non-public session for personnel and compensation at 8:51.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, I think we're supposed to,
Roll call
whatever.
vote.
Dave, yes.
Marlo, yes.
Okay. And of course, for anybody that is following along, we will not be doing anything further in a public session other than coming out of non-public to say we're done and closing the meeting. So there will not be a resumption of stream.